Okay, so let's take a look at BootStuff, and this is a free application that we supply here. It enables you to set various actions to take place when your machine boots up, hence the name BootStuff. And there is a manual all about this on the P Squared website, which has some very detailed explanations as to various kind of power stuff you can do. We're just going to take a basic overview of the application and just kind of get you familiarized with it, really. So this is the main window here. You've got the ability to add a test and action sequence, options in here, log files and help. The help is fully featured, so take a look in there. That contains a lot of information about how to set up some custom actions. First of all, let's take a look at options, and we bring up options here, and we have a primary and an alternate sequence that can be run when you create a test sequence. And here we have the option to select how long it keeps on trying the primary sequence before it moves across and uses the alternate sequence. So here it's set to 30 seconds. You can password protect the settings here, and this is where our log files are stored. Down here you can also choose to configure the computer to automatically log on to Windows, so that enables you to bypass the logon screen. So they are your options. If we go into add test action sequence, then here we go. We've got our primary sequence and then the ability to enable an alternate sequence and set that. The facilities that you have are exactly the same, whether it's in the primary sequence or the alternate sequence. So then we've got a few bits and pieces, few tests for Myriad to do. You can ask it to ping a network address. So this might be the network address of your server, which holds all of the audio. You can ask it to wait a few seconds. So once it loads up, ask it to wait for a share to become available. So you may have a share where all of your audio is, maybe it's on another machine in another studio. Also a drive to become available. Wait for audio in to become available. Sometimes the sound cards just need a little bit more time to kind of come back up, especially if you're using a USB sound card. Sometimes it just takes that computer just a little while to figure out where it is. So here you can tick on that, and then you can choose your sound card down here, and you have the same options for the audio out as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to say wait for a drive to become available, and we're going to choose here our shared folders, and then down here, so after it's become available, you're then saying and then do what. So down here in the plus, so here, and we want to say yeah, fine, once that's available, once you've found that, load up Myriad Playout version 4, and in here you can add in the command line. So it may be that you want it to load up a slightly different database. That's sometimes useful if you are using it in the alternate sequence. You may want it to load up a profile, which is a local database. Here you've got the option here to wait for the program to end before executing the next action, and then you also have the ability down here to launch an external program or a batch script. So again, here you can type in the program, search for it on the on your hard drive or on the network drive, and again add in any command line options. So once that's all okay, once you've set that, then that one sticks it in there. And then we could go back in here and we could say, oh, I also want you to load up the auto importer for me. And then we'll actually go down here and do an external program, and we'll say Notepad. And we can then navigate to Notepad. There it is, Notepad. Click on OK, stick that in there, and you can actually put what file it opens as well. So once that's in there, you've got your options, and you can actually move Notepad up a little bit further. And also you can change the order here, so we've got up and down arrow keys. You can click on that to bring up the details, change that if you want, add in a command line, so that's the edit, and then you can also delete that. So if we didn't want that and we didn't want that, then we can just leave our notepad here, and then we click on OK to save what we want. This drive letter is OK, and then if so, launch Notepad. So we can click on the run here, checks the primary, and then it's found our shared drive and it's opened up Notepad for us. So if we were to leave that all the time, then that's what will happen, and every time our machine loads up, it will load up Notepad for us, or it would load up our Myriad system. So again, We've got nice ticks here to say, yep, all completed, all successfully. We can view today's log. We can see here what went on. So it's all timed, who the login was. You can see here that the notepad launched up, did a primary test for that, see if the Z drive was open, test was successful, started the primary action sequence, and then BootStuff shutting down again once it had done that. So that is that. We can go back in here and we can add some more bits and pieces to it. So we could click in there, add Myriad Playout, click on OK, and then those two are now in there. And then if we click on that, that will fire it off. So there's our notepad, and then our Myriad Playout booting up, and that will be loaded up and ready for us to rock and roll. If we look back here, we can then enable our alternate sequence, and so again we can choose some different options, choose some different command line options for where it comes to Myriad Playout, and that way, if these fail after 30 seconds, it will do the commands over here. So it really is a very useful little application for timing the launching of applications, and just helping you make sure that Myriad doesn't launch when all of its bits and pieces that it relies on are not quite there. So it only makes Myriad launch once it's going to be completely happy. BootStuff, available from the P2 website, and free of charge.